just want to really quickly recap what we did on Thursday. I know it's been like 72 hours and you don't remember what you had for dinner last night. So, so quick recap. This one you guys did together in partners. So I wanted you guys to like figure some of these out together, like work together, come to a conclusion. So when I went around, I saw a lot of you guys just drew one line, but then it's hard to see what was the result if you don't draw both. So after you draw that, you had to translate every point on that line 2 units up. So when you move everything up, for example, for example, this point is moved up to here, this point is moved up to here, this point is moved up to here, and so you see that you do get 2 parallel lines. For this line now, this new line, you can see, because we did talk about it, when you have parallel lines, the slope is the same. So here, I know that my slope is 2, so for my new line, I also know that my slope is 2. But what is my y-intercept? My y-intercept now is 2. So my equation, y equals 2x plus 2. Okay, so what's the connection? That's there. So connection is that your line is translated 2 units up. Use this is the keyword you want to use, translate. Okay, on EQAO, these are the type of words that they use. Translate. Page 8. Kailash, page 8. Okay, similarly for this one, if you were to move the line 2 units to the left, so moving this point over to the left 2, moving this point over to the left 2, this point over to the left 2, you'll see that your line also still gives you a parallel line. What's the intersection point of this one? Y-intercept is 4. So your new equation, y equals 2x plus 4. How is it? What's the connection between them? Again, it's translated 4 units up. So a lot of people make the mistake and say that it starts at -2. Your line never starts on the x-axis. Your line goes on forever. So just because it has an x-intercept of -2, that has nothing to do with the line. Okay. So when you describe it, you also want to say same slope, different y-intercept. This graph is the graph is again translated 4 units up. All right. Right. Slope is the same, different y-intercept. All right. So for whenever you have parallel lines, remember that the slope is always the same. So in conclusion, no matter how you translate it left, right, up, down, what can you say about the slope? It's the same. Only difference, y-intercept. All right. So no matter if you move it left, right, up, down, the key is slope is the same. Okay. For this one right here, number 12, I have the original line, y equals 3x. My slope is 3. And if I rotate it 90 degrees, okay, make this line, now my line goes this way. Okay, what's the sign of my slope here? Yep. Positive. I have a positive slope. Whenever I rotate it either clockwise or counterclockwise, my slope becomes negative. So if my line starts here and I rotate it, it's always the opposite sign. So whenever I rotate it 90 degrees, the sign always changes from positive to negative or negative to positive. And if you rotate it properly, you'll see that your slope is now down 1 over 3. So negative 1 over 3. Okay. What is the connection between 3 and negative 1 over 3? It's called the negative reciprocal. Okay. So if my slope right here is 3, my perpendicular slope, which is, I use a symbol like this, like a little chair, the 90-degree symbol, is negative 1 over 3. Similarly, if I have a, okay, let me not jump it first. I'll save it. Okay. What's another word for rotation? Rotating it 90 degrees. If you were to describe these two lines now, they are perpendicular. Right, so here's another keyword. Here, we can move it down to here. Perpendicular. Alright. So these are some keywords I'm looking for when on like your quiz or assignment or tests. Rotating 90 degrees means the same thing as perpendicular lines. And in perpendicular lines, you have negative reciprocal slopes. Alright. Okay. So for example, this one then, this one, y equals 5x. So my slope right here is 5. So the perpendicular slope is going to be? Yep. Negative 1 over 5. Not just 1 over 5, but also negative, because your line changes direction. Okay. For both of these, your y-intercept is the same. It's at 0. Okay. So it can be the same y-intercept. Does it have to? Do all lines have the do perpendicular lines have to have the same y-intercept? No. Alright. I could have another perpendicular line up here, and it could have, it's still perpendicular, but it has different y-intercept. Alright. So it can have the same y-intercept. Does it have to? Alright. What about parallel lines? Can you have the same y-intercept for parallel lines? Can you have the same y-intercept for parallel lines? No. Right, because if it has the same, it's the same line. It's just the same line. Right, so for for parallel lines, you can't have the same y-intercept. But for perpendicular lines, you can. Okay. This one right here, flip. Okay, if you flip it over the y-axis, which is this, if you flip it over, only thing that changes is your slope. It goes from positive side to negative side. How's the steepness? Same steepness. Right? This one, if you flip it over the x-axis, what do you get? Ooh, compare these two graphs. The same, alright? So no matter how you flip it over the x or the y around the origin, only if it's to the origin though, okay? If your line goes through the origin, it will give you the same line. Only thing different, the sign. Steepness stays the same. Okay? So, oh, sorry. I'll leave this up for a second. Okay. Steepness stays the same. I'll add this on. Steepness is the same. Okay, so okay. Okay, so um, today we're gonna work on page 9, and we'll be finished up to page 11 by the end of today. Yeah, homework is up to page 11. Okay. Okay, so today's lesson we are going to rearrange equations from one form to another. There are two formats. What's the format that we've learned so far? Yep. Y equals mx plus b. That's the equation. What's the formal name? There's a formal name. Slope intercept form. Excellent. Alright, so I'll give, okay. So the first form is, as we said, y equals mx plus b. Okay, and this one is called the slope slope intercept form. Okay, which is the y equal mx plus b. Okay, what's the other form? Yep. Standard form. And then we have this one. Okay, ax plus by plus c equals 0 is the standard form. Okay. I think standard form is pretty useless, to be honest. No, it's still. I would say only thing you need standard form is for when you do the quadratic formula in grade 10. Because then you need to figure out what's your A, B, and C. But other than that, I don't see any other reasons why you need standard form. Slope intercept form tells you so much more and it's so much easier to graph. Okay. So like for example, if I look at this in this format, I can't tell what is my slope, what is my y-intercept. Okay. So that's why we need to be able to interchange between the two forms. Okay. There is two different formats of standard form. This was the format that I've always learned where it equals 0. There's a new standard form. Yeah. Okay. I don't know where this one came from. When I studied math, it was always this. This is standard form. But now you tell Google is like they say this is the new standard form. So I'll take both. Okay, since Google say take it, so I'll be like, okay, I'm not gonna fight AI. So both is fine. Okay. So write each equation in standard form. So for today's lesson, let's make it simple. Let's move everything to the left side. That's what it means. All right. So here, if I move everything to the left side, what do I get? Yep.
Minus 3x plus y minus 1.
Perfect. It's not an equation.
Oh, is equal to 0.
It's equal to 0. So when you move it, just like when we did algebra, you have to change the sign. So negative 3x, and then it's the y term, and then it's the constant. When you move everything to the other side, you're left with 0 on the other. Okay. And yeah, and that's it. Yeah, I know, right? Like, why? What's the point in moving everything to one side? I don't know. Okay, so what about this one? That will be nice and easy then. Just make sure the order is right. This one? Joshua? Yep. 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 That's it. Nice and easy. Oh, the third one? Wait.
Do all of them at the same time.
No, don't skip steps. Okay. the y is already on the left side. That's why we didn't change the sign. We kept it as plus y. Alright, so then now this one, let's move this over to the left side. Let's move this over to the left side. What do you get when you move it? Okay, yep.
Y plus 2 over 3x.
Oh, the order, x, y, and then the constant.
2 over 3x
Yep,
plus y
yep.
plus 7 equals 0.
Teamwork. Good job. Okay. Remember, if I don't see the equals 0, it's not an equation. You just change the whole thing into an expression. Okay. But yeah, I know it. I know. Okay. So, but I'm not satisfied with this final answer though. Why?
Why?
Arvin.
A is not an integer.
Not just A. Alright.
Yeah,
All
integers have
of
to be
them.
integers.
All of them have to be integers in standard form. So 2/3 is not an integer, okay? Going back to chapter 1, right? Whenever we see fractions, how do we get rid of fractions?
Multiply by the denominator.
Yeah, multiply it through. So multiply everything by 3. So 2 times 3 divided by 3, I get 2x. 3 times y, 3y. 7 times 3, 21. 0 times 3,
1.
0.
What?
Okay? And you can do that because it's an equation that equals 0. If you don't have this equals 0, you can't do that. Alright? You can't just change the whole expression by tripling it. You can only do that if it's an equation. Okay? So when you multiply through to everything. Now that's standard form. What's the value of A? What's the value of B? And what's the value of C? Yep.
A is 2, B is 3, C is 21.
Right. And remember, A, B, and C are integers. So not 2x, not 3y. It's just the integer. Okay. So you guys learned standard form for the sake of learning standard form. As I said, I don't really like it, but what I think is more useful is going from standard form back into slope-intercept form. Okay. So slope-intercept form, as you guys know, y equals mx plus b, which means what do I want on the left side? Sorry, yeah?
Why?
Y, right. Everything else, throw it away.
But why?
Y is equal to.
Right. I only want y on the left side because I want it in y equals mx plus b form. So y is on the left. When I move 2x over, it becomes negative 2x. When I move the 9 over, it becomes negative 9. What's my slope? What's my y-intercept? Jimmy?
Slope is -2, y-intercept is -9.
Perfect. And I'm glad you didn't say negative 2x. Remember, A, B, C, M, and B, they're all just numbers. Alright, I still get a lot of people telling me slope is negative 2x. Okay. Alright, this one. I want y only on the left side, so I'm going to move the x over. I'm going to move the 9 over. Okay. So what's left on the left side? Right?
-3y.
Good.
X minus 9.
X minus 9?
Oh, x. X plus. Oh, wait. Negative x
Yes.
minus 9.
Good. Okay. A lot of people like to jump the gun and say, okay, I moved those over, so it's y equal. It's negative 3y equal. Okay, so that negative 3 is still there until you move it. Now we're going to move it. How do we move that negative 3? Kenta?
Divide by -3.
Divide everything by negative 3. So divide each term. Okay, so then I get y equal, 2 negatives make a positive, so I get x over 3. And then negative 9 divided by negative 3, I get positive 3. What's my M and what's my B here? Yashika? Perfect. Okay, so right here, x over 3, remember what's the number then in front of the x? 1/3. Okay. Is it okay for for m to be a fraction? Yes, definitely. Okay, it does not have to be an integer. If you multiply everything back by 3, you're just going back in a loop. You're just going in circles. Okay. On the test, on the assignment, I do want the fraction. Don't change it to a decimal. Slope should always be represented in a fraction if possible.
For this question, wouldn't it be easier if we move the negative 3y
Yes.
to the right-hand side?
Yeah, you could do that too. So good recognition. You could move that 3y over to the other side and then divide everything by 3. So remember y equals mx plus b form is the same as mx plus b equals y form. But we're more used to seeing this format. So we'll stick with that. Kenta, your question?
Is it fine if we just leave it 1 over 3x?
Yes, yes. That's actually more preferred. But I wanted to show this form so that people can see that, oh, it's the same. Okay, last one. Other than Armin. Thank you for your participation today, though. Charles. No, don't skip steps. I know you will. I know you will just give me the final answer. I want steps.
Oh, you want steps?
Now you don't want to participate anymore.
I really don't know how you show steps.
Alright. Can somebody fill in that middle step? Thank you.
So first you bring the 4x over,
Yeah,
which would be negative 5y
yeah.
equals negative 4x.
Mm-hmm.
And then you bring the negative 8 over, which would become plus 8.
Perfect.
And then you divide the things on the right by negative 5.
Yep.
So it would become y equals 4 over 5x plus or minus 8 over 5.
Perfect. Okay. A lot of people write plus negative 8 over 5. Alright. If it's a plus minus, I should never see two signs side by side. Okay, on your assignment, on your quiz, on your test, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. Okay, if you write that for me, I'm going to take half a mark off because this is not simplified. Alright, positive, negative, you know that it equals negative. Okay, and what's my M? What's my B? Okay, Jimmy.
No, m is 4 over 5.
Yeah.
Is negative 8 over 5.
Perfect. Alright, don't forget the signs. Alright, so nice and easy. Alright, so you see when your equation is given to you in standard form, you can't tell what your slope and y-intercept is. You need to rearrange it so that it's nice and easy to point out. If you try to just eyeball it, you're gonna miss a sign somewhere. Okay, so that's the lesson.
Does it have to be improper fraction for b?
No. Yeah. So leave it as, for your slope and y-intercept, leave it as fraction form or improper fraction form. You don't need to change it to a mixed number. Especially with the slope, because I want to see the rise over run. So it's okay for improper fractions. Okay. Okay, I just want to do the first one with you guys right here. Okay, this one. 3x minus y plus 6 equals 0. Can we rearrange this into y equals mx plus b form? Joshua?
So you subtract the 3x.
Oh, wait. Is this a plus?
It's a minus.
Is it a minus? It's a
Oh,
plus.
yeah.
I think it's a plus. Yeah, it's a plus. Okay, so when I move it, it becomes y equal negative 3x minus 6. Right? If I just look at this graph, if I look at just this graph, what's my y-intercept? Yep. And let's say they gave me this point and this point right here. What's my slope to go from this to this? So if let's just say I go the full thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my rise is negative 6. My run is 2. When I divide it, I get negative 3. My y-intercept is negative 6. So based on these two information, what's my equation? Y equal? Yeah. Armin?
Minus 3x minus 6.
Okay. Ta-da! Okay. So you get the same thing. Whether you're doing from the graph, based on the graph, or rearranging the equation, you should get the same answer. Okay. Okay. And okay. So for these ones right here, you could either do that or rearrange. Up to you. Right? So for number 1, because the graph is given to you, you can choose the way that you want. And then number 2, 3, 4 right here, these ones you're not given a graph, so you have to do it mathematically. And then also this. Okay. Answers are right here to make sure you guys are doing it properly. So I know this is like a lot of repetitive, so just do ACE for these. If you did it all, good job.
Hey, she never follows me. How am I supposed to? Like, you always have the homework there, but you never actually follow. That's just how much you follow.
What did I write?
You know, you actually wrote that.
You actually wrote.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I actually wrote it. So, well, because these are all repetitive. I think if you know how to do it 10 times, you don't need to do it 20 times. Okay. So, your classwork / homework for today. Okay, up to page 11. This page, I do want you to do all of this, okay? And then these are the answers. You don't have to do anything on this page. It's just this, and then ACE for these. All right? Sounds good? Good.